it's just my algorithm, guys, but I used to see constantly like Celarot bags pop up on my feed, seeing these like low-key bags. What about the crazy Birkin lately? It looks really like over the top. What I see a lot on my social media is Coach bags. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm almost at 20,000 subs, guys, so I'm so close. So if you guys haven't subscribed, please guys, just go ahead and subscribe, because come on, I'm trying to get to 20k here. Guys, I wanted to talk about today Instagram and like Little Red Book, social media, how it's really changed over the years in terms of handbag trends. I, have been on social media ever since like Instagram came out, right? Like early 2010s. And I've noticed that the aesthetics and like what handbags are in fashion has really been quite different over the years. So like comparing the early 2010s to the late 2010s to now is so really it's changed so much. So I wanted to talk about things that I used to see a lot on social media and what I see instead. So firstly, guys, I remember there was a period between, I'm going to say around 2017 to 2020 where it was like a huge thing to collect Chanel minis and classic flaps. I don't know if you guys remember this, but people were like really seeking out to get like the Chanel Caviar mini and like collect a rainbow of classic flaps. This was really used to be a thing. And I myself did get sucked into this idea, and I did end up collecting quite a few Chanel classic flaps because, I think Chanel was always like my dream bag brand to get into when I started getting into designer bags, because it's very girly, it's chic, it tends to be seen as a brand that goes up in value, and it's a great investment to buy a Chanel bag. And back in like 2017, 2018, Chanel bags were a lot better in price, and since then they've gone up so much, it's insane. Like a Chanel mini, when I bought my rectangle mini, I remember it was 4,200 Australian dollars in the black caviar, and now a Chanel mini in black lambskin is around $8,500. And actually it's reported that Chanel may have another price increase again, because a lot of designer brands are now increasing their prices. And I definitely think that the price point has deterred people from, collecting these classic flaps a lot anymore, and also seeing them on the pre-loved market. I've noticed that the value has dropped a little bit compared to a few years ago. And it's not something I see on my social media as much, like people photographing outfits with classic flaps, but it used to be a huge thing. So let me know, guys, is the classic flap still like a huge, I don't really think, it is a classic bag, obviously, so it never really does go out of fashion, but I just feel like the appeal has somewhat kind of like gone down a little bit. So instead, what I see for Chanel is the Chanel 22 bag and the new Chanel 25 bag. Now, these bags, I see a lot mainly of the 25 recently. It is a bag that Chanel is currently, I think, trying to push and advertise. You see a lot of celebrities wearing it, like Jennie from Blackpink and Dua Lipa. And I feel like this style of bag is a completely different vibe to a classic flap. One, it's really big, so you can really fit all your essentials in it. It's a hobo style. And honestly, a style like this, I really don't think would have been seen as in fashion back in like 2018. Like, it's a completely different aesthetic. I think, back then, a lot of people loved their mini bags. They loved their like classic pieces. But now people are going for these more just relaxed, oversized bags. And the Chanel 25 fits into that idea. Now, I would say it's actually a very trendy bag, and one of those bags that I can't imagine will have longevity. However, it is one of the main Chanel bags I now see on my social media, and I really don't see much of the classic flap these days as much as I used to. Next bag that I don't see as much is definitely bags like the Louis Vuitton multi-pochette and the Prada re-edition and the Prada crystal bag. Now, these were, I think, at peak popularity back in like 2020. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I feel like people were just obsessed with these utilitarian strap, multiple coin pocket bags. It was a huge trend. And I really wanted to get the multi-pochette. I ended up getting one, securing one myself, and I even got a Prada crystal bag. So it was all about these, like, I don't know, little pochettes, like fancy pochettes, right? now I don't think the trend is so much there anymore for that like sporty casual look. I think also during like, you know, COVID and lockdown, it was very much a thing to buy tracksuits and like more sporty athleisure. Now, obviously athleisure is still a thing, but I feel like people are trying to dress a little bit more elevated now for some reason. I've just noticed this, and these kinds of styles, they're almost like too sporty. So I would say instead what people are going for now, what I see a lot on my social media, is Coach bags. Coach bags have really popped off just the last year or so. And Coach, you know, it's a great price point. You can kind of dress it down really well. And it's a lot more fuss-free. And there is more of a trend, I think, as well to go for contemporary brands. I mean, contemporary brands have always been there, but instead of buying a very expensive sporty bag, I think people would much rather go for like a slouchy, you know, an Empire bag just to chuck all their things in. Or, you know, I fell in love with like the swing zip tote. I think is like a really nice minimal style that you could definitely dress up, like not really a dressy bag, but it's more casual and cool, and it's less sporty compared to like those like canvas strap bags. I just don't think that they're as much in fashion as they were. Definitely you can still wear them. Like, in fact, with the canvas strap bags, I would rather go for like a really cheap bag, like Uniqlo or this brand called Bagu. My friend picked this up for me recently, and it's a Miffy collaboration. It's really cute, and I think this is great. Like, it's very lightweight, and it's you know, I think this was around $60 Australian. So if I am going to go for like a nylon or like a pochette bag with this canvas strap, it's going to be like very cheap, honestly. So this Bagu brand is pretty cool. Uniqlo. So I don't think it's as actually in fashion to buy like the Prada version or the LV version anymore. Of course, guys, I'm not saying you should follow trends, because I honestly don't follow trends, but it's just what I've noticed seeing popping up on my social media. I hardly see those like bags anymore, and I see more like Coach is just like going crazy. Like, I see the Empire bag, even the new Kiss Lock bag. I've seen a lot of people styling it, and it's a really oversized style. It's very different to what was trending a few years ago when we're getting more into those you know, very expensive classic flaps and that sort of thing. In terms of Hermes, I think that like Birkins and Kellys have always kind of been shown on my social media, but now I feel like it's more than ever. Like, it used to be more about like the classic black, gold, and etoupe colors, like very neutral, very low-key aesthetic Hermes, like that minimal vibe. And actually it kind of feeds into like old Celine, like Phoebe Philo era, like when the Celine luggage was cool, and like that one with the whiskers, what's it called? I forgot, guys. I'll put a picture. But like that kind of era of Celine, Phoebe Philo, and like, you know, opting for like a gold Birkin, that kind of like low-key aesthetic, it's definitely still in, but I definitely don't see any Phoebe Philo Celine bags on my social media anymore, because, well, that was kind of like a era that's kind of gone now. But when it comes to like Birkins, actually lately I've been seeing a lot more like crazy colorful combinations as opposed to like the classic look. So people are really going for like really bright colored Birkins and like putting Labubus on them and like going crazy with the bag charm. So it's definitely like feeds into the bag charm trend, and also the idea that Jane Birkin was a little bit more free with her Birkin. So people aren't necessarily going for that more classic polished Hermes look. Definitely that never goes out of fashion, similar to the classic flap. People are going for like an Hermes look, which is a little bit more playful, and then they're going crazy with the decorations. They're even putting like their Van Cleef necklace like dangling on it. And even I've seen a trend to wrap like a Kelly belt around your Birkin and then add like the Constance slim wallet thing on it, which I'm like, what is going on here? Like, it's really like people are really customizing their Birkins to like another level instead of keeping it like very classic and clean. So yeah, it's not about the classic Birkin, it's more about the crazy Birkin lately. And I would say, yeah, I have like experimented with putting Labubu on my bag, but I quite like the look of just having like a cute twilly and then an Hermes charm, like a matching charm. I think that this is a good, like this is still quite crazy to be honest, but I don't think it's like too crazy. Whereas I think what's in fashion is to literally just like put as many charms as possible and like it looks like it looks really like over the top. That's what's cool at the moment. Whereas that was like not really a thing a few years ago. So yeah, it's about the crazy Birkin, guys, and the crazy Kelly. And even just like getting a huge Kelly and then putting like a mini Kelly on it and then like another like micro Kelly, like putting like bags with bags. And also what I've noticed is big bags are coming back. So like the mini Kelly and the Kelly 25 definitely still like very popular, but people are now going for Birkin 35, Birkin 40, and you know, you're seeing them styled in these more loose, relaxed ways, which to be honest, I don't really see that much in real life. I just see it on my Instagram, and to be honest, I don't really see a lot of Birkins and Kellys, like people wearing them in real life. In fact, in real life, I see a lot of people wearing Coach bags and yeah, more contemporary brands. So even I would say compared to a few years ago, I used to see a lot more people wearing more logo bags, but now people are going for just more contemporary brands. Have you noticed that too, guys? But in terms of my social media, I see people wearing these like big Birkins and just like, yeah, really personalizing them. So it's really interesting. The trend to collect, like to wear, like Gucci, Marmont, and like Saint Laurent, like Cassandra logo bags, like the envelope bag, the college bag. These were so hot in like 2017, 2018. Like having a camera bag with a logo was like a huge thing, right? And this is something I still see people wearing today, like a lot. I see people with the YSL logo bags, but on my social media, I really don't see it at all. So I really don't see the Gucci logo as much. I don't see the YSL logo as much. And in fact, I see more low-key bags. So it's really interesting. I've noticed that more Korean brands are popping up on my feed, like kind of cheaper brands that have like shoulder bags and like bowling bags. And I don't know if this is just my algorithm, guys, but I used to see constantly like Saint Laurent bags pop up on my feed and Gucci bags, and I don't really see it at all anymore. So I'm seeing these like low-key bags from like random Korean brands, and then I'm seeing like, of course, the Miu Miu bow bag pop up so much, which is like a very low-key rectangle, and I've seen a lot of the plume bag as well. And I don't know if this is just because I searched for that bag, but I've noticed a lot more people like going for like this rectangle silhouette and this kind of size. So whether it's the Hermes plume, I also have a mini one as well. And this actually, I think this particular bag is from 2017. And back in 2017, I would say this bag was not seen as like cool or in fashion, but now I think it's like really in fashion. Just noticed recently the plume bag, which is so random, is starting to get pushed on social media. And even bags like the Victoria bag, which is like another really low-key style, which goes for like hardly anything sometimes. Like this one I got for 1,500 Australian dollars, although it does have some heavy scuffing. It's not in the best condition. I've noticed even this bag become more relevant on social media. Like I saw this like really big influencer, her name is Josephine, and I've been following her like for a very long time, and a lot of like big brands sponsor her and that sort of thing, and she was wearing a Victoria bag like yesterday. I was just like, oh my god, like that is so random. Like she's wearing the Victoria bag when she always wears like very, her aesthetic is very like minimal, clean, neutral, but she's always wearing like the most trendiest bag of the time. So to see her with like a Victoria, I was just like, oh, okay, there you go. Even this bag is like coming back. And I think it's because it's this like loose, like kind of like shoulder bag slouchy look. And people love these like lived in shoulder bags. It's just a huge trend. It's very different from like, yeah, like the more structured like envelope bags from Saint Laurent or the Gucci bags, or even like Valentino bags with the V, like those like flap bags with the logo like smacked in the middle. Not as much of a thing that's being pushed on social media anymore, which is interesting. It's just like a complete opposite effect. But that tells me that, you know, in a few years, this is probably not going to be a thing anymore, and it's going to be another thing. Also, I've noticed that one bag has really stood the test of time out of all the bags, and that's definitely the Louis Vuitton Speedy. I think the Speedy, like the classic monogram Speedy, was a huge thing throughout the early 2010s up until now. It's still like completely relevant. I still see the Speedy a lot on my social media, which is crazy. However, recently I've seen much more of the Murakami edition Speedies, which are so cute, especially the cherry blossom one, guys. Like, that is my favorite. And most certainly the P9 Speedy. But again, it's similar to the Birkin. They're completely decked out in charms, they're customized, and maybe this wasn't as much of a thing you know, a few years ago, although I will say there was a huge trend to put like pom-poms on your bag, like particularly Fendi pom-poms, and this is something that I think is definitely relevant now as well. So it's interesting that the bag charm trend, it kind of comes in and out, but it's definitely, I think, the biggest it's been in a while. But yeah, the Speedy is actually a bag that has been relevant for like a whole decade, and it's still kind of like really in fashion. As opposed to maybe other bags that really we don't see as much as anymore. So anyways, I'll wrap it up now. Thank you so much, guys, for watching my video today. Really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you on my next one. Bye!